Bruchim Habayim, welcome everyone to a special edition of All Parsha on Parshas Pinchas. The Baal Haturim on Parshas Pinchas. I would like to share with you a group of passages of the Baal Haturim on Parshas Pinchas. Let's begin in the beginning of the Parsha, Parak Chaf Hei, Pasuk Yud Beis. We know that the Nasi that was Mezana with Kozbi Basur was Zimri ben Salu. Who exactly is Zimri ben Salu? So the Baal Haturim says Shalumiel ben Suri Shaddai, the Nasi of Shevet Shemoin. Shalumiel is Gematria Ze Zimri ben Salu. This is Zimri ben Salu. Now I'd like to share with you a number of choice comments of the Baal Haturim of the names of the children of the Shvatim that are counted in Parshas Pinchas. Rashi tells us that the names of the Shvatim had added on to their names two special letters. Rashi is found in Parak Chavav Pasuk Hey, that the nations of the world were Mavaze Klal Yisrael, and they said, you're being Meyaches, your descendants. You think the Mitzrayim did not violate your wives? If they dominated their bodies, Kavachomer, they dominated your wives. So therefore Hashem placed His name upon them, Hey on one side, Yud on the other, to be made that they are tahar. This is what David HaMelech says in Tehillim, Shiftei ka edus li Yisrael. The extra letters Yud and Hey added on to the Shvatim is edus that Klal Yisrael remained pure. And therefore Rashi says, Yimna, it doesn't say li Yimna mishpachas hayimni, because Yimna already has a Hey in the beginning and a Yud in the end. Well, there are a few families that are questionable based on this pattern. Let's go to Parak Chavav Pasuk Chav Gimel, Lefuva Mishpachas Hapuni. To Puva, the son of Yisachar, the family of the Puni. The Baal Haturim is bothered, it should say Lepuva Mishpachas Hapuhi. What's Hapuni? Says the Baal Haturim, it's to teach that all Yisrael, all Klal Yisrael would be Poina Elav, would turn to them, would face them, would be inclined toward Puva in order to learn Torah, as the Bnei Yisachar were Yoidei Bina Lo Itim, they were the most knowledgeable in Torah, and therefore Lepuni is a remez that Klal Yisrael would turn to the Bnei Yisachar. The Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh, however, is also bothered by this question. Why does it say Lepuva Mishpachas Hapuni? It should say Lepuva Mishpachas Hapuvi. And the Baal Haturim and the Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh says a very important yesod, that the mouth of a Jew who learns Torah is dinoi kechli shares, has the status of a vessel used in the service of the holy, because there is no kedusha like the kedusha of Torah. If a vessel in the mikdash was holy, certainly the vessel used to the mouth used to learn Torah is holy, and therefore it is almost prohibited to speak improper words, even secular words, with that very same mouth. This is merumas, lepuva, the mouth of a Talmid Chacham, the mouth that learns Torah. Mishpachas hapuni, you need to clear out from your mouth any external type of conversation other than conversation in Torah. As one of the memches kinyanim of Torah is miut sicha, diminishing one's speech. Lefuva, if one wants to sanctify their peh, mishpachas hapuni, they need to clear out their mouth. And now we are introduced to another individual. Leyashuv, Perek Chavav Pasuk Chav Daled, mishpachas hayashuvi, leshimrain mishpachas hashimraini. Who's Yashuv? Says Rashi, Yashuv is Yoiv. He was mentioned among those who came down to Mitzrayim, and Yoiv is Yashuv over here. Well, where did the Shin come from? So the Baal Haturim is bothered by this, and the Baal Haturim says, who Yoiv? V'kara oisai Yashuv. He is called Yashuv. The Baal Haturim quotes the Medrash, B'shvil Shabale Yeshiva Hayu. Being from the descendants of Yisachar, they were masters of long-term, serious learning, and therefore he's called Yashuv. He was Marbe B'Yeshiva. However, the Chizkuni says that Yashuv is Yoiv, and where did the Shin come from? Well, his father's name was Yisachar, and Yisachar has two shins, so he had an extra shin to spare, and therefore his father gave him a shin. Interesting, his father gave him a shin. Why did his father give him a shin? By the way, amazingly, if you look in Shas Tshuvas, Beis Ephraim, of Rav Ephraim Zal Margolis, on Even HaEzer, Chelek Gimel, Siman Kuf Yud Beis, he brings a custom that there are Balei Kriya that pronounce the name Yisachar until they get to Parshas Pinchas and they pronounce it Yisachar. Well, what changes in Parshas Pinchas? Well, based on the statement of Chazal, Yisachar used to have 2 shins until he gave one to Yoiv, and Yoiv became Yashuv, and he became Yisachar. But the question is, why did Yisachar give a shin to Yoiv? So the Taz, the Divrei David, quotes Maharan, that's Reb Nosson Shapiro, that his father originally called him Yoiv, but then he complained to his father because Yoiv was the name of Avodah Zarah in the time of the Torah, and he was embarrassed from it. So the Sefer Devek Toiv asks, why did his father give him that name? So he says it wasn't originally the name of Avodah Zarah, it became a name of Avodah Zarah, and it became a source of embarrassment to him. And his father said, okay, I have an extra shin, so I'll throw it to you, and now you won't be Yoiv anymore, you'll be Yashuv. So in the Sefer Pardes Yosef, he brings from Rabbi Gedalia Rabinowitz of Manchester an amazing explanation. Why did Yisachar specifically add the letter shin? Just because he had a spear? It's a spare tire? A tire? So the Pardes Yosef quotes an amazing pshat that if you look in the Beis Yosef Siman Lamed Beis, he says, we know that Hashem's name is on the tefillin. Where's God's name on the tefillin? So sometimes we think, the shin of the rosh, the dalet of the yad, the yud of the back of the rosh, the yud of the yad, and the dalet of the back of the rosh. No, says the Beis Yosef. The shin itself is the name of Hashem. How's that? If you take the Shem Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei, and you atbash it, a Yud becomes a Mem, a He becomes a Tzadi, a Vav becomes a Pei, and a He becomes a Tzadi. That's 2 Tzadis, 180, Pei, 260, plus Mem, 300. Shin. Shin is the Shem Havaya. Shin is alone the name of Hashem. So since Shin alone is the name of Hashem, says the Pardes Yosef, in the name of Rabbi Gedalia Rabinowitz, then it comes out beautiful. Yoiv was embarrassed that his name was the name of an Avodah Zarah, so his father Yisachar says, I'm going to be mashlim that, I'm going to pay you back, you won't be embarrassed. Now, not only will your name not be the name of an Avodah Zarah, you'll have the Shin is the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I would humbly suggest another way Shin is the name of Hashem, and namely, the name Elohim, B'miluai, is Gematria Shin. Aleph Lamed pays 111. Lamed Mem Dalet 74. Hey Yud 15. Yud Vav Dalet 20. Mem 80 equals 300. So the Shin is both the Shem Havaya and the Midas Hadin. So we could say very beautifully, the Tefillin Shel Rosh represents, we have the strap on the right side, that's Midas Harachmin, the strap on the left side, Midas Hadin. But in the Shel Rosh, it becomes one entity. Midas Harachamim and Midas Hadin come together in the Oish Shin. This is another way that the letter Shin represents the name of Hashem. And again, the Beis Ephraim says there are Balei Kriya that until this week's Parsha, before Yisachar donated the Shin, it's pronounced Yisachar. And after he donated the Shin, it is merely Yisachar. But according to most poskim, it is always Yisachar. Okay. Well, once we're on the subject of the various names, I would like to share with you one additional insight. Namely, Rashi in Perek Chavav, Pasuk Tes Zayin, the Pasuk says, Le'ozni mishpachas. Ha'ozni, Rashi says, in my opinion, Ozni is etzboin. Says Rashi, Ve'eni yoidea lama le'nikreis mishpachtoi al shemai. I don't know why etzboin's name was not called by his name, Etzbain. Well, says the Shlach HaKadosh, many are matmiya. What is the connection between Etzbain and Ozni? But he said, I heard a remez of Musar. Namely, The Gemara says in Ksubis that a person's fingers were created slanted, so that if a person is about to hear something improper, they should take their etzba and stick it in their oznayim. That's le'etzbain is related to ozni. The way to rectify and clear and maintain the purity of the ozni, the oizen, is through the etzbain, through the finger. So that the ozni in Pinchas is rectified through etzbain in Parshas Vayigash. Interestingly, the Shlach HaKadosh is cited by the Chassam Sofer, and says the Chassam Sofer, V'nirali Kivan, that Sheshevet Gad were Shechenim, they were neighbors with Ruvain and Shimon, who had Risham, like Dasan Aviram, and the 250 men, and Zimri ben Saul, and the 24,000 Jews who died in Magefa. Therefore, it says etzbain. They needed to put their finger in their ear, but now that these Risham are left, and they were left with only the tzaddikim, therefore they could already take their fingers out of their ear. Hence, and originally they were called etzbain. Originally they had to protect their ear, and now they were able to have their ear not as guarded as in the beginning. So here are a few thoughts from the Bala, based on the Baal Haturim, of the Gematria of Shalumiel, as well as the significance of the name Puva and Yashuv. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu be Megala to us all of the beauty and wonder and majesty of the Torah. Gal Einai V'Avita Neflois Mitarasecha. Wishing everyone an amazing week and a wonderful Shabbos ahead. The Shabbosim of the 3 weeks are from the holiest Shabbosim of the year. Kol Roid Feha Hisiguha Bein HaMetzarim. These Shabbosim are unique opportunities of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. May we be zoicha to take advantage of these wondrous times.